The four-time Academy Award nominee, Annette Bening, has called on Republicans to stop stoking anti-trans hatred. She was talking about her support for her transgender son, Stephen Ira, and advocating trans rights during a recent appearance on The View. She stated the importance of having a strong Republican Party, but said she does not want people who stoke up fear. Bening also expressed a hope that people find one trans person in life, because then only they can understand how hatred makes trans people feel. Bening is the star of the new movie NYAD, the famous lesbian swimmer who made headlines for the swim from Cuba to Key West.
Well, it's true. I think once my son is now 32. He's my oldest. So at the beginning, I felt very protective of his privacy because he's married. He's the son of these two famous people. So I felt very protective, and I felt it was his right to say what he wanted to say publicly or not. And now, as time has gone on, especially now with what's happening, unfortunately, in the political process, that trans people are being used, fear and ignorance is being stoked against trans people in the most frightening way. It's so unfair, and I feel very, very strongly about it. I am a Democrat. We need a strong Republican Party. We need a strong opposition, but we don't need people to stoke up fear. So what I would say is, first of all, thank you. I would hope that people would find someone in their lives who's a trans person, and there might be someone that they don't know who works at the grocery store, or their doctor, or their teacher, or I don't know, it's just their post office worker, you know, someone in their lives who is just like they are. They happen to be trans.
Annette Bening said it all and said it freaking well. What are we all talking about? What do you think? I like her even more now.
Honorary gay.
John.
Done.
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 Done. Come on over. Get in bed.
Just to me, I think that this is, it's so inspiring to see a mom stand up for her kid, because there are so many people watching that their mom has never stood up for them, or is not friends with them on social media because, you know, they don't want to mix their crowds together. I'm very, very blessed to have a super supportive and cheerleader mom.
That's so beautiful.
Hi, Mrs. Moffat.
Oh, yeah.
And she's gorgeous.
Mrs. Moffat is dope sauce, okay, by the way. Like, you know, honestly, if I was a little older, I'd hit it. I'm just saying.
Well, and you might not be too young for her.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So, yeah, I think that this is really powerful. Part of the language here reminds me, though, of like when I was young, gay, and coming out, that there were people like who just never met or knew a gay person at that time, which like sounds ridiculous now. Like, what do you mean you don't know any gay people? It's because we didn't introduce ourselves. We stuck to ourselves. You know, keep your nose down. And there is a lot of, I think, burden in having to always come out and explain yourself and all of that. And I think that trans people are now in that space where it's hard, but you've got to be open to the questions. You've got to be, you know, willing to be vulnerable. It's part of the activism that's needed now, is just being yourself and out.
And it's so hard to say that because obviously myself or Mark are not living the trans experience, right? So we don't know, and we can't even begin to explain what that is like, right? But we know that representation matters, and we know that visibility means everything, right? You know, like you said, like, you know, there were people, there's still people that, you know, are not friends with anybody in the LGBTQ plus community that they know of. Because that's what I tell people. They're like, oh, I don't know anybody that's gay. Bitch, yes, you do. Trust, okay? They're just not out to you, you know? I mean, it's this rhetoric of hate brings upon misinformation, miseducation, right? And that's, you know, not all Republicans are bad. We can't put all Republicans under one umbrella. But this rhetoric that's just completely focused on the T, right, it has got to stop.
It's intentionally dehumanizing.
Yeah.
That this isn't really a person. This is a bad being. This is, you know, the devil, all that kind of crap. And it's just, I think they're just picking on a group that is small enough to think that they won't really fight back.
Yeah.
And it's a bullying kind of move.
Yeah, but think about it. If you're a trans person and you're early transitioning, maybe your paperwork doesn't match, maybe you're in the transitional phase. You've got so many bigger fish to fry, right? You've got bigger shit to worry about, like, a home and money and all that kind of stuff and your safety, that like you're not thinking about all this other crap, And so there might be moments where somebody might come up to you with a question and you might not be in the right frame of mind to answer that, And it's like, okay, you don't want to, or you've had a rough day,
And they're usually stupid questions.
And they're most of the time stupid questions, and you have to answer them. And I say sorry for you having to answer them, But if you're not in the right frame of mind to answer it, send them over to Trans Social, send them over to Trans Inclusive, send them over to Sunsurf, send them over to Tatiana, Adriana, all these incredible women in our community that have the answers.
Yeah,
right?
You don't have to be the martyr.
And you have to be the martyr.
Just have good references.
Just have good references. Point them in the right direction, right? This person might have taken all their muster to ask you this question, and they might never ask somebody else that question, and it's so necessary. Right?
Right on.
Right. All right. Annette Bening, I like you more. All right.
Honorary gay.
I have to watch NYAD, by the way. I have to watch it. All right.